So let's get around the table and see what folks thought.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Senator Vance pointed time and again, you heard it in his close, that Vice President Harris has been in office for 3.5 years. When it came to weak policy on Iran, the first questions dealing with that Iranian missile strike into Israel, on immigration and border issues, on inflation, coming back again and again to that. Governor Walz did appear nervous at first, but seemed to find his stride on the abortion stretch of questions where he talked about personal stories of women seeking abortions in restrictive states. But he really had a tough moment when he was asked about why he said he was in Hong Kong for the Tiananmen Square protest when he was actually really in Nebraska. He said sometimes he just says things and he's a knucklehead talking about things. Again, no questions about China, no questions about Ukraine. And there was some questions about fact-checking and whether it was fair and balanced across the way. Here with us tonight, Dana Perino, Harold Ford Jr., Laura Ingraham, Jesse Waters, Britt Hume joins us remotely. Britt, your thoughts coming out of this debate?
Well, the moderators were obnoxious and made it feel like 3-on-1 on Vance, and Vance was just fine. He seems to have been, his skills as a debater and a speaker seem to have been honed to some extent by just these several months on the campaign trail. And for one so young, he seemed, in terms of his knowledge of policy, to run rings around poor Governor Walz, who I think did not have a very great night. As you say, Brett, he got better as the night wore on. But if you're rating this debate on points, it wasn't close. Vance had a good night.
Laura, what's your take?
Well, for those who question Trump's choice of Vance as his vice presidential running mate, I think those doubts should have been put to rest tonight. I don't think, and this is my 8th presidential campaign I think I covered, I don't think I've ever seen a Republican so deftly maneuver what was smug and arrogant bias on the part of those moderators. Almost every question was designed to make Republicans look bad, slanting Trump's views on child care. And yet Vance seemed to take it all in stride. And he really, I think with most questions, really showed his humanity and also his knowledge of the issues. I don't think he could have done better under the circumstances, and I think that is very reassuring to the public who thought he was perhaps an ogre or anti-woman or didn't like kids or some strange concoction of the stereotype that they were selling.
Harold.
I don't disagree with anything that's been said. As I was listening to some of the issues and really what I was looking for at the very beginning, was he likable? Were the candidates likable and optimistic? I think they both were. I think Senator Vance probably had a little better edge there because all the things that have been said about him. Were they smart and knowledgeable? There's no doubt both were. But at the beginning, it seemed that Governor Walz was a little rattled. And Senator Vance came out stronger and certainly sure of himself, which helped him well. Were they relatable? I thought both of them. One of the more remarkable things is they seemed to like each other. They shook hands. They talked about things they agreed on child care and other things. I agree with you. Abortion was where he really got his stride going. And finally, can you see both of them as president? I think, Senator Vance did himself a good job. And he's a young guy. Walz is a little older. And both of them seem to had some confidence in them. But there's no question on the economy and on immigration. I think that the Republicans still have their advantage. And on January 6th, in abortion and health care, Republicans have it on the other, and Democrats have it on that.
Dana, obviously the Trump-Vance side is trying to reach out to improve those numbers with women. On the other side, for Harris and Walz, they need to improve their numbers with men. And you could feel both of them trying to do that at times tonight. Did they succeed?
Well, Vance did and Walz did not. You can understand why the Democrats spent the entire week trying to lower expectations for Walz. The only problem is for Democrats, they underperformed because the expectations should have been even lower than that. For any Republican or independent who is concerned about Vance, I actually think on the other side, it's so many Democrats tonight saying, why did Kamala Harris not pick Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania? Because I think that might have been a different debate. Vance made a concerted effort to talk directly to swing voters. And I don't think it was just women, but certainly men who might have been on the fence. I don't know what Walz did on that point for men. I do think that you're going to see a lot of the media say, why can't Vance just say Trump didn't win in 2020?
Right.
And they're going to try to hang that on him. And I think there will not be another debate, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kamala Harris doesn't want that to be the last word on a national stage.
35 days left, and that could have been the last debate. We'll see. That's what they're saying right now.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.